Bringing the
Uh,
vision into a mission. This is the Global Vision of Peace with the GoldFish Report number 4, recorded on August 24th, 2015. I am Radagast at your service, with Louisa, our media outreach, Sanjay, the wonder from down under, and of course the ambassador, voice of the dragon, with his warm heart and keen mind. Over to you.
Welcome everyone. Now this is our fourth goldfish report, and I wanted to invite Radagast to start talking about this article from China, and then I will explain how this one can be implemented internationally. Thank you.
All right. Well, I found an article that I found particularly inspiring. It was on Zero Hedge, and it's angry Chinese investors capture the head of metals exchange in pre-dawn hotel raid. And what I particularly liked about it was something that you have urged people in the past to do about taking action against people who are crooked. And just so here's just a few excerpts from it, without getting into the details of the malfeasance of the person, but somebody did something wrong. And so the head of the Chinese exchange that trades minor metals was captured by angry investors in a dawn raid and turned over to Shanghai police, as the investors attempted to force authorities to investigate why their funds have been frozen. Some investors flew in from faraway cities to join hundreds more surrounding a luxury hotel in Shanghai before dawn on Saturday. When Fanya found their Shan attempted to check out, they manhandled him into a car before delivering him to the nearest police station. Shanghai police took Mr. Shan into custody and promised to work with local authorities in Yunnan province to investigate what has happened to investors' money. They later released him without charge. So that's kind of like what I'll take from the copy. And yes, the man got released, but at least before he got released, he was manhandled, as they say, by a couple of hundred people. And I have a feeling that perhaps he might take his investors a little more seriously in the future. What do you think, Ambassador?
I think so too, and I think that this is something that we need to do in the future. I think this is something that we need to do on a more regular scale against people like him. Okay. The problem in Europe and America, unfortunately, is that during this financial crisis that started today, we see that a lot of people last time, 2008, was actually rewarded. Nothing happened to these people. A lot of people lost their houses, their lives, and people committed suicides around the world. But the guilty perpetrators of this crime was either promoted or put in another position. Okay. And so I think that this story from China should inspire everyone to follow the same example, to do a citizen's arrest of the person, bring them to the nearest police station and ask them to investigate for fraud. And if we start doing that to people, I think that people would be much more careful what to do with other people's money. Okay. And so this is I think is a very, very, very good example for how we can, as humans, could come together and empower and take down evil. And I think this is something we need to do on both the bankers and on other people that tries to kill humanity or come up with crazy ideas. Come in masses and basically do a citizen's arrest and force the police to actually do an investigation. Okay, and let's see what's happening with this investigation that's done against this person. But I think this is a very good example for how we should deal with people in the future. Does anyone else have something to comment on this article?
Well, I think one of the things that was interesting was that this was an article in zerohedge.com, and there's this presumption of implicit guarantees when it comes to people who invest their money, or even if you're just saving your money in the bank, because in the U.S. there's the FDIC that is supposed to guarantee investors' money up to $100,000. But I think if you have a bankrupt government, there's really no way to uphold that, that insurance. I don't think that I'm not quite sure about China, but we can't, protect people's money, and that's really, I think, maybe why people were so outraged was that there's these people are obviously going to experience losses, great losses, and there needs to be some accountability ultimately. Sanjay, did you have any comments?
Yes, going on that FDIC, like you guys have in US $250,000 for each deposit ownership. In Australia, there's 100,000, and there's other places. But as we've seen in Greece, right? What's the use of having any of these guarantees if the government's broke? Right. So you can have your 401k or the superannuation where you've put your savings for the whole life, and next minute you're going to ATM to get $60 a week out or $120 for pensioners a week out. What was the use of putting millions of dollars in the bank? This is where we talk about financial tyranny, right? They have got us fooled to say the bank is a safe place to put the money. Yes, look here, we've got the guarantee. But what they don't tell us, that every government around the world is in debt. So how are they going to pay this money? Yes, they're going to take our deposits. This is why they've got the laws they already passed, too big to fail banks, austerity measures, FATCA, all the laws are there that they've used in Greece.
Right.
So,
and aren't there? I mean, there are articles in the media talking about all the different countries that have these bail-in policies. So here you have the FDIC saying, "Oh, we're going to insure, any losses," but and then of course they're bankrupt and they're not telling people in the United States that they're bankrupt. But you have, these little backhanded, sleight hand executive orders which are saying, well, which people were asleep at the wheel. I mean, most Americans don't realize we have an executive order that happened right around Christmas time that's, guaranteeing that the banks aren't going to be too big to fail again because we're going to bail them out with our own money that we work for. And I think it, may take a financial crisis like this to get people to really wake up and see how irresponsible these people are with our money and investments, and demand change. But today is an example of that, because the world has gone to hell in a handbag with this Black Monday market collapse, and which I think the ambassador might want to talk about. He's muted. I have to unmute him. Let's see.
This the end of a 7-year circle, and basically the end of this religious circle too. And then there usually is a celebration of release. And so people say, oh, but this is not the release. This is people losing money. No. Some people is losing money, and the money that these people are losing is gained by someone else. So actually the one that creates this type of incidents are creating a release of funds to themselves. They're creating wealth for themselves in this hostile takeover. And this is something that people have to realize. I mean, this is the year of a jubilee, and this is the jubilee meeting on the 15th. And I was aware, as I told you all people before, that in September we will have a financial collapse, and we were expecting it because last time they did it in the end of September. It's time to do it in the beginning, because people are preparing themselves for this type of collapses, and so they know that it's coming, and people have been talking about it's coming, so they have to surprise us, and that this time they start a little bit earlier.
We had a little audio glitch here. Hang on one second. Okay, should be back.
I think they start a little bit earlier, so to throw some people off the thing. But now the trend has started. The thing has been going. We have a North Korean incident with missing submarines, and we have all these different hostile situations around the planet, and all this aggression going on, and people being killed right, left, and center in different countries and locations, and airplane crashing, and so on and so on. So I think that we are now in a very dedicated time, and times when we talk about asteroids coming and so on and so on. That's why it's important that we come together and do these things that we were talking about. When these people do these things, take them, go collect them outside the Wall Street, and just bring them to the nearest police station. Make a citizen's arrest. Understand? And same thing with the politicians. Hold them accountable for what they've been doing. If you go one person try to do it, maybe his bodyguards and the bodyguards will be able to, say that, this is a crazy. But if we are many, then what they're gonna do?
Isn't this just part of a game, though, that, you know, where there's also this attempt to, we saw that there was an explosion in Japan at some U.S. Army base. We saw last week the big explosions in China, just so happens to be at another port. We see the escalations between North and South Korea, as you were saying already, that the Russians and Chinese have their ships. I mean, this is, you know, this is not posturing anymore. I think we're way beyond that. And I think that I think what people who are watching this want to know. I mean, you've been saying this. The ambassador has really been saying this for a very long time, that this was, you know, coming. And now that whether this is just you know, the forerunner of, you know, a bigger collapse, or we don't know what's going to happen, but it looks like this is not a good sign. What should people be doing? How can they protect themselves?
I mean, I wouldn't even recommend people to go and take out loans and go and buy foreign currency. Just buy pounds, buy Chinese renminbi, buy other currencies. Diverse your repertoire. These banks are going to go bankrupt or something like that. At least you have some cash in your pocket. You have money inside your bank, so you might lose them. I think it's very, very important to be as cunning as these people are. They are very smart, and this is a time of recuperation and remittance, and people and countries doing auditing. And so they need this type of thing to throw around the bank thing so that they can be able to confiscate so they can pay their interest loans. And the normal common person will be the innocent victim in the middle. And that's why it's very important that the innocent victim people doesn't go and commit suicide, because it's not going to help anyone, but actually to rally up together and have these people arrested. It's time that someone in Europe or America will be held accountable for their criminal actions, especially reverts when this funds is having such a great impact on so many millions of people all around the world. We are in a financial war as we are speaking. We are almost in a World War II if you look at all the different crises that we have around the world that is blurring and actually bombing and things like this. So we need to wake up and stop this aggression and awaken and allow these different communities to receive the freedom that they so much need. Okay, so I think this is a very important thing to look yourself in the mirror and basically see, what can I do? What can I do to shift and change in my own life? And how can I impact a greater number of other people and assisting them through this process before it's too late? What's happening today is basically a start of a greater collapse, by my opinion. And it's going to just continue. And, this is a very big warning sign. And I hope that people, ones that have been preparing for it, and other people like myself, I lost a lot of money today. And I think this is important that, we have to be active, we have to be vigilant, and we need to protect our own assets.
Well, do you think that this is, what we're looking at is the markets all over the world. I mean, we're not just talking about China anymore. I mean, at first we were just, reading in the news that the Chinese stock market was devaluing because the currency devalued, and so, but now we're starting to see reports. What happened today? Can you explain exactly what happened? What happened? There was this chain reaction in markets across the globe, and what is this really? Can we recover from this, do you think, or do you think tomorrow is going to be?
Yeah, of course, we're going to be able to recover for it in a few years. But the thing is this way, is that the important thing that we need to realize here is that you always need a boogeyman. And the boogeyman here was China. So you attack the Chinese stock market, bring this down, and this was devaluing, it comes to devaluing war. And basically suddenly it affects the emerging markets and the other markets into a such state that the other markets ultimately have to fall. And this is what happened today, that the European and American markets will start falling, and they had a huge fall. And now this is just the start of the worst coming financial crisis in world history. Will it be people that are going to try to put a stop to it and help the people of the world? Yes, we are here to do that. But, we have to see how much damage these people will be able to do before it's too late.
Who made out today? Who made money on this? Who benefited from this today?
I think that the guys who normally benefits of crisis, okay, and it is the same old guys and the same old crew that always do that. So I think that and it's the normal small investors and corporations and other corporations that's going to be big losses. but they're going to be either way taken over by these other big symposiums. And that's what he's doing here. This is basically an attempt to bring down the market so that you can grab the market from the people. This is an organized theft. This is the correct word to use, nothing else. And unfortunately, you're going to have a lot of people suffering in that process. And that's why it's important to hold these people accountable, like that story that we was mentioning from China.
Right.
And also that governments takes their responsibility. It's time for them to actually take the responsibility for the people.
Sanjay, what do you think the likelihood is that that would happen down under there where you are?
Well, today our markets shed $64 billion, right? Now that's a lot of money, and there'd be some corporate investors, but there'd be a lot of mums and dads. There'd be lots, there's 401k managers that put mums and dads money in there. So there's a lot of people that'll be hurting today. And it's like they're talking about, it's brought it back down to 2013 they're comparing with. But US has gone down so much, it's compared with 2008. So this has been a mega earthquake. It's not just a aftershock. It's actually a proper earthquake in the entire financial market. And as the ambassador said, we've talked about this before. There's been currency war going on. There's been shadow wars going on. You can't aggress and expect nothing to happen, right? This is what happens, and everyone suffers. But as the people that play the markets, like they know, when they know the market's going to collapse, right? So what they do is artificially pump it up, and as they're pumping it up, it's called calls. So they actually go on calls so that they know the market's going up because they're artificially driving it, and they make money on the calls. When they're ready to dump the market, they know the triggers on the artificial corporate level. They change their bets from calls to puts. So as the market dumps, they're making money again.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter which way.
They make money whether they're long or short. It doesn't really matter. So
exactly.
So Radagast, I think you wanted to. You had some updates. Was there some updates that you had regarding what's going on with the market right now?
Well, Zero Hedge says that think the market has gained 1,000 points again today. Let's see, Dow up 1,000 points off of opening lows. Mission accomplished. Nasdaq goes positive for the day. But the interesting thing was apparently there's a thing that did Tim Cook violate Regulation Fair Disclosure by emailing Jim Cramer to save Apple stock this morning, because they're saying that in the NASDAQ one, where's that NASDAQ one? Mission accomplished. Thanks to the SEC's ignorance of seemingly illegal exchanges of information between Tim Cramer and Tim Cook, everything is awesome again. That was what the mission accomplished. NASDAQ goes positive for the day. But their top headline right now is about Tim Cook. Today, his Apple stock was plummeting and had lost a whopping $75 billion in a market cap, dropping as low as $92 a share. CNBC's Jim Cramer pulled a rabbit out of his hat, or in this case, a previously undisclosed email out of his inbox. An email from Apple CEO Tim Cook, which may have well been instrumental in saving Apple some $80 billion in the market cap. An email which may have been a rather blatant FDA violation, regulation FD violation. So, I mean, this has been a day of malfeasance when it went down and malfeasance on the way back up. So I really wonder what tomorrow is going to look like. Sure, they've managed to recover a little bit today, but how much is this as a Band-Aid and how much is this that everything is really okay, especially if malfeasance and maybe even breaking some laws occurred to help Apple out.
It definitely looks like there was some insider trading there from what you're talking about. And he looks like he's going to get caught. It's going to be hard to backpedal out of that one. So that's interesting because it looks like it is already recovering. So what could tomorrow actually look like? Does anybody have any idea?
You see, the collapse should be taking around this month. And like I was talking with a family, they said this is too early, and I agree it was too early. But I think this is just a beginning earthquake and will become more and more. And the thing will just escalating through this month. And, when we come to the end of the month, then is when we're going to see the big shit hits the fan normally. So, we just have to be very vigilant and very careful. And I basically tell the people to be careful and do, like I said, invest in foreign currencies. And, who cares? Take out a loan, because that loan you might not even need to pay back in the way that you were expecting it. So, make sure to be vigilant, to be ahead, because these people are doing insider trading, as is clear here. They're playing the games, they're playing the markets, and it is the innocent people that lose the money in the end. So please, take that in consideration.
So we're not seeing a Shemitah here right now, though, are we? Or could we talk about that a little bit? Is this
Maybe this is the silent start of the Shemitah. Maybe it was, the thing is this way, normally it's happening in the end of the month or the middle, not so early as now. But maybe this is the foreshake for the big thing. And I don't think this financial war will end today.
So it looks like for the people who are watching this and listening to this, that maybe this isn't maybe this is a wake-up call to kind of get ready and be prepared, because I don't know if everybody who's viewing this knows what a Shemitah is and what the implications are, but maybe the ambassador would like to go into explaining a little bit about that, since this is a cycle and there's patterns, and the Shemitah is due this year. So maybe the ambassador would like to explain a little bit about that.
I mean, this is a Jewish calendar type of incident that comes across every 7 years, and the big time of the 70 years, and it also coincides with the way that the system has acted with the money through all these years. And so basically, this is a year of release. Now, releasing funds, people think, oh, this is great, it's going to be a big release of funds in the Jubilee. Yes, that probably will come later, but the first release is when they have the collapse. That actually going to be the guys who makes this big collapse, going to have a big release of funds into the system, so that they can pay for whatever they owe to the masters. So let's see what's going to happen, and let's pray that the innocent masses doesn't get struck too hard during this financial war that's ongoing.
Is this Shemitah have something to do with the Pope also coming to announce the Jubilee session at the United Nations?
Yeah, I mean, this is a Jubilee year. I was talking about it for over a year, and I was saying that this thing's supposed to start happening during this year. Okay. And now we see the Jubilee meeting coming up in the United Nations. This is on the 15th and 16th, so Pope will talk. So it's going to be very interesting to see what really comes out of this meeting. And I hope really that the Pope do what he's been instructed and do the right thing for humanity.
Is the Shemitah really an economic collapse, or is it some sort of is there some prosperity that comes from this? Is this for people who don't understand?
Yeah, it's supposed to end with a prosperity, but it's basically when you settle your books. And now is the time to settle your book. And then during the time of settling the book, you can do it in different shape or forms. And the powers to be there used to do that for their own financial benefit all this time. So let's see what's going to happen.
Well, I think this kind of is a good segue into the whole issue of Swiss Indo, because Swiss Indo is this person who claims to be the M1, and it's really all over the blogosphere that he's claiming that everybody's going to be gifted this prosperity money, and it's all coming, and everybody's blogging how it's just around the corner and it's getting ready for it, and I kind of wanted to get your opinion on that and what.
Yeah, I mean, his date came and left, okay, and I think these people can sit and wait for that thing to happen the rest of their lives. I think that the most possible scenario for Mr. Swiss Indo is most likely being arrested or worse. It's just sad that some people buy into all this rubbish, and people have been aggressing me, saying, "Oh, I'm too kind to him, he's a fraud," and why I'm saying he's a nice guy and whatever. I never met the person, but when I see the person, he doesn't look like a pure evil guy. I think that either someone is using him or is very seriously misguided. Okay, and I pray for him and for his people that they will find some way to find prosperity too. You understand? But these illusions and the stories and that he's M1 and chairman of the United Nations, this is just rubbish. Okay.
Right.
But you know, of course, he has his right to make the claim that he is this person. I mean, anyone can do that. You know, you understand? But you know, normally people that holds that position doesn't make that claim. They never go out and state, "I am the M1." You never heard Marcus running around screaming, "I'm the M1," or Sukarno running around screaming, "I'm the M1," or the Japanese Emperor screaming around, "He's the M1." Or actually, the present M1 have never gone around screaming, "He's the M1" either. And so, and same thing with the chairman of the United Nations. This lady doesn't go around screaming about that either. So the thing is this way, it's very important that people wake up to the reality. And, you know, I don't think that he generally, I don't know what is the background, how he managed with his people, but it seems to me there's a lot of goldfishes that has been charmed by him and following his directions. And I just pray for them that they will find some prosperity and down that ladder. But I doubt it very much. Okay. And that is not because I don't want him to succeed. I wish he would do something to help humanity if he can. Okay. But, you know, it's the same thing with many of these cartoon characters that's, you know, claiming they work for the family and they're this and they're that and the dinner is happening tonight and tomorrow and or grandpa and grandma and all these different stories. And, you know, I'm not saying that all of these people are liars, but maybe they are seriously misguided by some. And since none of their information ever has been come true, then I think that they should watch themselves in a mirror and wonder where they get their information from. And, you know, all these different attempts to create some attention around themselves doing something and, you know, trying to do something which makes them look even more stupid than what they were before. It's you know, it's sad, but you know, let's just work together, everyone here, to help humanity. You know, I'm not anti anyone, but I'm anti stupidity. Okay, and so it's very, very important that we do whatever we can to do some benefit here for humanity.
Well, as you said, you've been aggressed upon, and you know, you're no stranger to controversy here, obviously. And we have, you know, people who are trying to represent the family, and you're the voice of the dragon. So, you know, for anyone else, and I just wanted to kind of get it out there that for anyone to say that, you know, they, you know, represent the family or in some way have, you know, are doing things for the family, I think, you know, people should take that with a grain of salt, because I think you've been as transparent as you can be, and that's what we do these goldfish reports for as well. And we invite people to submit questions that are intelligent, and so that we can be transparent to people, because when someone wants to make the claim that they represent the family, they're going to have to show you and really prove it to you. But you know, the ambassador is the voice of the dragon. This is where you would go to get any kind of official opinion about the family, and I think I just wanted to put that out there and make it very clear, because there's a lot of people who are mudslinging right now at the ambassador unfairly, but they have their own agendas, and eventually, you know, people will see that. Sanjay, did you have a comment you want to make?
Well, going to what the ambassador just said before, like the Red Dragon and other members of the family that are the powers are not saying or doing anything, right? As the ambassador is the voice of the dragon, these other people, could they be what we've heard about as false prophets? Right, just going claiming all the prophecy and claiming all that they are the M1s in the world, but they're not really. They don't even know what's going on.
Who created these prophets anyway? I mean these prophecies.
They're,
Really?
they're useful actually, because they create a lot of attention from the real people. And the main thing is, if you want to know if they're real or not, just listen to them. It doesn't take too long time to debunk a guy like, for example, Neil Keenan or others. Understand? So, you know, it's just open your eyes, look at the guys, look at the man, look at these people. I have been sitting and listening to people claiming they're working for the family. There are people claiming that they're buying and selling boxes of bonds, and people who claims they direct to the grandpa, people who claims they work for the grandma, and all these different stories. Let them claim whatever they want to do. But the most important thing is, what can you do? You understand? What have you achieved? What have you actually done? You know, what is your track record? Okay. And to write things, to make claims, to do things, you know, to pretend to do something, that's fine. You know, but the main important thing is that what are you doing? When you listen to the people, you listen to what they're saying, they're doing, it's on such a low level frequency, almost pure ignorance in some cases. And it's just saddening. But that doesn't mean that these people are bad. No, maybe they are misguided. Maybe someone placed them as a fool. Some people, I have seen so many people being worshipping the gold, worshipping the money, running around like small leprechauns after the treasures. Okay, all obsessed. These people should not be involved with this thing. When you're involved with money, you should not care about money. You should care about other things. Being a good human to start with. Okay, and throwing parties around and engaging people and stuff like that. It's going to come a time when people are going to say, you know, you did that 2 years ago. What happened? You did it now one more time. What happened? Okay. In the case of Swisendo, I remember the time when Keenan had his amazing outreach that he was selected by the elders of Indonesia. They've been waiting for him for years. I think that move has been removed now. And he's supposed to trade heritage accounts and stuff like that. And anyone who's a little bit involved and have a little bit knowledge into things, no, you cannot trade heritage accounts. So, you know, it is some very questionable people there. But for some people who doesn't know the inside out of things, maybe find it, interesting and charming. Okay, and then it's all the things about all these mass arrests that's supposed to take place. They've been talking about these mass arrests for years. But, when is these people going to be arrested? And then you have people that are like almost, what's called psychological challenged, okay, who claims to be some people that are supposed to go out and bring all these people into arrest. It's very questionable. And if someone has chosen these people for do something, I think it says a little bit about these people who choose them. It doesn't mean that these people, whoever entertains them, there may be some person on their frequencies that likes them and likes to give them this type of story so that keep them occupied.
Well, that's a very good point, because Neil Keenan has come out and called you the sweet talking ambassador. He must really like you, to pay you such a compliment. And he really should try to reach out to you and, be friends, really. Can't we all just get along? Radagast, did you have something that you wanted to say about the Jubilee?
Well, somebody did. Well, yes, somebody had asked in my YouTube channel. I've had a couple of questions. Some of the questions I just don't feel were appropriate. But somebody had asked me to ask the ambassador how the Jubilee that's coming, like the one that might happen with the Pope, how that might affect the common person. Is there anything you could say to them, like just what that might look like to the person in the street? The grassroots people.
We should go back to what was written, okay, in the Silent Jubilee story from Bloomberg's. That's basically what we're going to see. We're going to see an infusement of the upgoing markets, more trade, more money into the circulation. That means more money for the poor people to use. Maybe they can work less, okay? And it's going to be a lot of positive things. Then when we start moving into completing our of the projects that we have already started, is going to help the common people. At the same time, we have our outreach where we ourselves go in and makes funds available for doing projects for grassroots level people. But you need to be taking part in that. It's important that you take part in this movement. As we are speaking, about almost 20, 30 people has been in Hong Kong. Some of them have met with a family there. They had their account set up. They had a company set up. People are very empowered. One of our interviewers is there in Hong Kong. I hope that she could be on. She probably will be on the next one. Then she can get updates how it is in Hong Kong. And you know, this thing is very much real. This is not a fantasy anymore. Okay. And so that's why I think it's very important to look at what we're doing. I don't really care, to be honest with you, if people are running after hunting boxes and bonds and going down in caves and try to steal things, try to do things. I do not really care about that. You know, the cleanup teams will deal with them. Okay. But at the same time, it's other people like ourselves that is not just actually doing something, actually doing funding the projects, actually doing projects in different areas of the world, and we're having people moving, and you know, they should actually ask the people that's involved in this, what is this experience? They should join the symposium and learn what's really happening. Then they don't need to worry about things. Maybe they should join and do the same thing. Take the classes, do the things, learn how to do it, get educated, and then move forward, present your project, and then move on and get your structure.
Well, I guess one more follow-up question. Things, I guess, like student debt, you know, and some people have gotten themselves into really bad credit card debt because they've been living off their credit cards because they can't make ends meet. Is there any hope in the near future with the Jubilee where some of that they might get some relief or even forgiveness for things like that?
No, not at this time. Okay. I think that further down the line in a few years, the elimination of debts will be coming, but not that over one night. People have to realize that this is a big venture. This is a big undertaking, okay? And the whole world cannot shift and change during one night, okay? You can have a collapse during one night, but to rebuild that is going to take years. And so basically what we need to do is basically work on how now to rebuild the planet, how to work together, okay? And like, for example, I wouldn't have a problem if if Neil Keenan or any famous Swiss would contact me and want to do something and have a project they want to do something to help humanity, or what assistance, and really want to know what's going on around the world, I wouldn't have a problem talking to them. But, you know, I do not go around soliciting, contacting people. You know, it's like funny, they were making some story that I supposed to contacted him. This is an obvious lie, like many of his lies. And the same thing with you know, I contacted the White Dragon Society. I never contacted or spoken to the White Dragon Society. Okay. On the other hand, our family is connected with the Japanese family, but it's a different thing. But the thing is this way, it's like I said, Benjamin Fulford, I consider him as a good guy. And probably, you know, he has a lot of good things they can do that he could work with us together. But if someone wants to talk with us, want to engage, to do something better for humanity, I'm open to listen.
Well, I had looked at some of the comments that have been posted on our GoldFish reports, our previous GoldFish reports. And, you know, people do get the intent behind what we're trying to do here. And that's really good because we have a benevolent agenda to really wake people up, to end the war, you know, to have a war on ignorance and wake people up and inform them of really how the world works and how they can help humanity. And there seems to be a very deliberate attempt to try to discredit us. And we talked about this in our previous video, that this is very consistent when you have trolls. So we have trolls. There's no question we have trolls who are posting on our own blogs. And you're wasting your time if you're doing that. And I know you're going to watch this video, and I'm talking to you. So don't bother wasting your time posting nonsense and criticizing us, because we're not comparing ourselves to anybody or anything. So I don't know why people would want to criticize us when we're trying to do something good for the world, unless they want to do something bad in the world. They don't want us to succeed. And so this is the struggle that we have on this planet. And we have comments in our section that under our videos, and people really are writing very nice and understanding. They get the message we're trying to get out, and they want to know that there's somebody out there, that this is a forum for them to communicate. And so for the one out there who is doing, posting things that are not nice, we have our eyes on you, okay? We have our eyes on you, and only post things if you really have something intelligent to say, because your comments are completely uninformed and they're unintelligent as well. So it's kind of like you. I bet you were the bully in the schoolyard. Really, you probably were, and you've never really had some kind of. You have some need that you really need to meet somehow. So I just want to let you know that you are a bully, and you really should stop because you're wasting your time. So we're
No,
here.
but the most important thing to recognize with this type of people is that they are, paid. Some of them are paid to do this type of jobs, and it's their mission to try to create this type of things. That is only a testimony that we're doing the right thing. So, and I wish that if someone really do have some concerns, that they actually reach out and contact us and find out who we are. It's better to find out instead. We had people that was vicious, aggressive, one who had many profiles, different profiles attacking me simultaneously. We had a talk, and I think we have a very good relation today. So I think it's very important that people to engage and understand what we're doing, and see that join the mission on both the war and ignorance and the financial tyranny. And at the same time, try to do and help people and support people instead of breaking them down. I think it's to create something is far more important, okay, than to break something down. But some people, it's very easy to break things down, but it's not very hard to build something up. So I invite the people who is aggressing to actually join in the rebuilding of this new planet and this new paradigm that we want to create. Okay. And with that, I would like to thank everyone that has listened to us. And we will be back again with the next report on Wednesday. And also I want to put attention to the new page. We have a GoldFishReport.com, where you can go in and look at all the goldfish reports. And also, if you're there, you can also join the instructions to join the symposium. And there you'll find out actually what's actually happening in tradition of peace all around the world. Okay, so please take care of yourself, everyone, and have a great week. And I hope and pray that whatever happens in the world will be neutralized and there will not be any damage on us humans. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the close to our fourth Goldfish report, and we will be back for more.